18.
And as you mentioned, David, the serve really a huge weapon for Alexander Zverev. Hasn't dropped serve yet, so that will be a key for young Jacob Fearnley to find a way into the service games of the #2 in the world.
And having watched Zverev in the United Cup, but also here against Lukapui in the first round, that serve +1 has been, the serve's impressive, but his capacity to put it away or deliver an unreturnable ball has been a feature already in 2025. Standard, of course, as soon as you pump up a player's capacity in one area of the game.
The classic commentator's
double fault.
curse, yeah.
Yep.
That's just something you have to accept when you cross over to the dark side of the media.
Opening service game for the German. Yeah, so Taylor Fritz, 23 from 23 on serve. And now Zverev, 28 from 28. He's one of 6 players that are yet to drop a set. Such has been the dominance in the opening 2 rounds. Colin, tell us a little bit more about Jacob Fearnley, because spent his time at US College, Texas Christian University, and this time last year was a collegiate player before turning his attention to the professional ranks, and what a rapid rise.
Yeah, incredible rise. Jacob, as you already mentioned, from Edinburgh, born and raised there. Went to school in Edinburgh, Merchiston Castle School, on a tennis scholarship there, so able to really work on his tennis. He was a very talented junior. He actually beat Alcaraz and Sinner in junior competition. There's no doubt college was, the right decision for him. He was scouted by Texas Christian University, the same university as Cam Norrie. Went there, and well, his tennis has really developed incredibly well in those 4 or 5 years.
They've got one of the best nicknames in American university sport.
It'd be remiss of me, David, not to name check his developmental coach, if you like, David Brewer, another Scot who worked with him as a teenager. Often those coaches that put in the hard yards with the youngsters, 7 a.m. before school, etc., get forgotten. So there's a lot of good work done, as there is with all players that make it to this level.
The Horned Frogs, by the way, is that nickname for the Texas Christian University. Horned Frogs. Go the Frogs.
Well, frog is not very strong, so you need to put a horn on it.
And it's the Horned Frogs against Japan in the Davis Cup after this tournament. Cam Norrie and Jacob Fearnley nominated for the first time. They'll be travelling to Japan, so that's next stop for Jacob after this event.
nicely done by Fearnley. How is the status of the nerves, Colin, would you say, knowing him so well? He's had this double fault at the beginning, rather unforced error with the forehand, but settling down slowly.
Yeah, Jacob's a guy that he does get quite nervous. I think all players do, but you know, since he was a kid, you know, he's you couldn't ask to meet a nicer guy. Very humble, very personable, but you know, he's not a big sort of shoulders back, confident, maybe in the way that, you know, Alexander Zverev is. Definitely suffers some nerves, but he did a good job there to come through against or in that opening service game. But you know, I actually feared for him in that first round match against Kyrgios. I thought the atmosphere might sort of just get the better of him, but the way he handled that, the calmness he showed, the composure, so impressive.
Those cross-court rallies on the backhand side, from backhand to backhand, are tough for anybody to withstand against Alexander Zverev. Maybe the best backhand in the world right now has this man. He lost the point here, Jacob Fearnley did, but I just like his strategic mind. Right away goes for the backhand down the line, takes a risk. He's playing the world #2. You have to take risks against the best in the world.
Good athleticism from Zverev there to hold. Leads 2-1 in this opening set.
Zverev leads 2 games to 1.
Good demonstration of Zverev's game here, just the relentless pressure that he applies, and then when there's just a little opening, senses that, quick to come in, and then a very effective. I think we'll put that down as a drop shot.
Time.
About the ranking rise of Fearnley last year. It was only Eastbourne for Wimbledon that he made his ATP Tour level debut from the Challenger circuit, and of course got the wild card to Wimbledon, where he had a second round encounter with Novak Djokovic on centre court. Won a set against Novak. What an experience. It's interesting looking at his story about that. He said that they enjoyed the atmosphere at Wimbledon so much that he spent too much time at the club and that tired him out. 10 hours a day he was there. He said everything was so good. A bit like Disneyland, I guess. It's okay if you're there as a visitor, but if you're actually, you know, a performer, you've got to just. He was a bit surprised he didn't see much of Sinner or Alcaraz or any of the big stars, and was a bit surprised at that as he was eating the strawberries and cream, I guess.
Just beautiful technique on this backhand from Zverev. He turns and rotates his upper body so much you almost see his back on the other side. If you ever are on the opposite side of Alexander Zverev when he hits his backhand, you can almost see his back. That's how much he rotates and creates the power on that wing.
Good hold of serve. 2-all. Colin, he must have had a lot of friends, I would imagine, when the Scotsman made it through to that centre court appearance with Novak Djokovic. All of a sudden, there'd be a lot of requests for tickets, I would imagine. Yeah,
it's amazing how the phone starts going, isn't it? That was a good game there from Jacob. I mentioned in the warm-up, not too much of a breeze, but what breeze there is definitely coming down the court from Zverev's end now. So Zverev here is serving with the breeze. So it'll be interesting to see as the match develops how that impacts things, maybe where the breaks come.
And you can tell his college experience because there are a lot of fans behind the service arm there of Zverev still making their way down and sitting in the front row right behind him. And a lot of players would call a halt to that, but he's used to movement in and around the court.
That's nicely done, and it started all with a great return, and you can see that he studied Zverev's game because Alexander Zverev's favorite serve on the outside is the one down the tee in the important moments.
And that's the end if he's going to use the drop shot. As I say, Fearnley's into the wind here. Played the drop shot a couple of games ago downwind, and it was eaten alive by Zverev. So that was a smart tactical play. He's got a good tennis IQ, Jacob Fearnley.
Let's see, Cain. Game Zverev.
So on serve in the opening set here.
Zverev leads 3-2.
Just approaching his team there, I think they still seem to have one of his rackets. We saw his father, Alexander Senior, re-gripping one during the warm-up. He's very particular with his rackets, and you know, we can get into it more, but still it's a relatively new frame that he's using the last few months. I'll just keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe with the heat today, he's looking for the team to be keeping the overgrip fresh, something like that.
Yeah, here it is, a new model for Alexander Zverev. He changed rackets before Paris actually last year, which is unusual to change rackets in the middle of the season. Won the Paris Masters right away. And he did say that if he had played badly in Paris, he would have chucked the new racket into the River Seine. Supposed to give him more power.
And as we know, a type 1 diabetic, and you can just see him having a little treatment there, finger prick, but he's got the biometric sensor on his hip that he checks the app every time he sits down on his phone to see that the sugar levels are in the right range.
It's an interesting one with the racket, isn't it? From what I understand, it's a thicker beam, a more powerful racket. He wants more power. And we've seen Alcaraz add a bit of weight to his racket in the off-season. It's definitely a theme. Players looking to get more power in their game. Hard to imagine, but that's what they're looking for. Zverev also spoke quite openly last season. He's on the ATP Player Council, so he's privy to a lot of the workings of the tour. He spoke about the way balls have been manufactured since COVID. He feels the balls are a bit heavier, softer, so...
Stripes the line, pumps the fist. Applause from the opponent. What a shot.
And he's so good in those defensive positions. Him and Medvedev really changing the game, and gets acknowledgement here from his opponent when it comes to tall men and their ability to run balls down on the court. So quick, so agile, so good in the defense. Well, it looks like he...
Yeah, he's cranked the back, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Zverev, that relentless pressure.
Zverev leads
gets the break.
4-2.
We'll Just keep a watching eye on the body of Jacob Fearnley, because he appears to have just cranked the back a little bit. A few extra stretches.
Has improved that part of his game so much, Alexander Zverev, in the last few years. Tries to take the ball a bit earlier, defend the baseline a bit more. That's the problem when you have such incredible defensive abilities. You sometimes rely on them too much.
Again, strong on serve is world number 2. With a break, he's out to a 5-2 lead in this opening set.
Zverev leads 5-2.
Strong start, as you would expect, but it's just that relentless pressure level of the game of the top players. New experience for Fearnley on the hard court. Of course, had that experience against Djokovic at Wimbledon last year. And that's where you find me between matches, Andrea, just on the beanbag somewhere, normally in the shade, but watching the tennis.
Be in hand?
No, no, of course not.
Okay. Professional?
Yeah. But,
time.
Those kids they know where the camera is. Might even be a drone flying around. Another Sunday at the tennis. Good atmosphere everywhere. Huge number of patrons in. Record crowds every day. Over 90,000. The new racket has arrived. The old one is being dispatched as we've got the new balls. Serving to stay in this opening set.
15.
Man, I like this play. I think Jacob Fearnley should try and move forward as often as he can. He seems to be very natural at the net, seems to know what to cover. A lot of college players play a lot of doubles as well, so need to be quite apt at the net. And we saw Zverev change rackets again. Colin, maybe after this point, do you know what he's looking for down there with his rackets?
His father and coach Alexander Sinner, he must have done 3 overgrips already, I think. I think he's just looking for the right tension, and then as he's changing rackets in that regard, he's getting them a fresh overgrip put on, which is unusual. Usually all the rackets would have fresh overgrips, I would think, coming into a best-of-5 setter, but he's just searching for the right formula so far, Zverev. I have to say, he's not played badly, though. It's quite noticeable courtside, just the weight of shot that Zverev has from the baseline. It's you know, Fearnley hits a good ball, very good ball, but Zverev just has that extra sort of 10%. You can hear it off the racket. It's a really, really heavy hit, and well, I guess that's what makes him such a tough player. That combined with the movement you referred to, Andrea, it's just it's overwhelming, I think, to play against.
And it's such a good point that Colin is making, because a lot of people find him to be quite one-dimensional from the baseline, when in reality he has a natural change of rhythm in his game just by the sheer trajectory of his ball off the backhand and the forehand wing. His forehand has a lot of spin, a lot of rotations per minute on it, flies through the air completely differently than the backhand, which is so flat and so fast. So you do have to constantly adjust to the different ground strokes that Zverev throws at you.
Bitte.
Huge second there. As I say, he's downwind. Actually thought the ball toss was getting away from him out in front, but just a massive second, 199 kilometers an hour.
So a strong opening set, just the one break of serve, but he's been strong and in command. Zverev takes the opener 6-3.
Can I give you one more racket? I'll show you.
So I think the physio's been called here to...
30.
Well, and he has won 5 out of 6 net points. Jacob Fearnley seems to be going quite well for him, although I will say, and maybe Colin can speak on this too, he tends to attack and approach cross-court, which is not really the best. Decided a bit late there.
40, 50.
No, he does have a good feel for the game, Fearnley. I understand your point about approaching cross-court, but I guess sometimes when you play someone like Alexander Zverev, you've got to be so wary of the backhand, don't you? I think sometimes you have to sacrifice maybe the percentage play to attack the slightly weaker wing. It's a decision, isn't it?
Takes the opening service game after the treatment. I'll have what he's having, thank you. Seems to be working well.
So how do you get rid of the hex, Andre?
Yes.
Is there something as mythical to reverse it?
You have to light some sort of candle, or?
Unfortunately, the mythical muscle relaxant is what does it usually, if it's not too bad. And I assume with some adrenaline and painkillers and maybe a bit of mobilization by the physio, he's feeling better now. He seemed to have actually a bit more pace on his ground strokes in this game. But the real challenge is how to break Alexander Zverev's serve.
Love 50. Cain. That's it, 15.
Just a sense that Fearnley is trying to be more aggressive with his play, hitting bigger, coming in when he can. Pedro Martinez against Zverev the previous round, the limited success he had was mixing things up, you know, coming into the net, maybe using the drop shot to bring Zverev off the baseline. It's very hard to beat him just in baseline rallies.
30, 40.
So break point here, as we've discussed, yet to lose his serve in the opening 2 games, but also he's saved 8 break points so far. Can he keep that streak alive here? Unlucky. The door was open, a window down the line.
Yes.
Yeah, did so well, Jacob Fearnley, and taking that T serve away from Zverev on break point. That's where he goes 80% of the time. And ever since the data has come along, he has tried to change it up with the wide serve a bit more, because players are able to look at the same stats that we are and cover the grounds on the basis of it. So you need to be a bit more flexible.
Under assault here, Zverev.
Advantage, Fearnley.
He could have done a lot more here. Jacob Fearnley
Yes.
had 2 short balls in the court and just couldn't quite pull the trigger there.
Yeah, he was trying to, Andrea. I think he just slightly mishit the forehands. So a lot of effort went in, but not a lot of ball speed came out. It was a chance miss for sure.
Advantage, Zverev.
Just wide.
Zverev.
So Zverev saves the 2 break points, keeps the service streak alive.
1 game.
First set went for 30 minutes. First 2 games of this set, 16. Competitive display from Fearnley after the treatment on the Hexenschust back. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, but that's how it's going to be. I'll do my best.
Yeah, a bit annoyed, but that's part of being a tennis player. Unfortunately, you have these physical issues, especially at the Grand Slam tournament. Best of 5 for men You come in already half hurt.
You can really hear and feel the extra effort from Jacob Fearnley early in this second set. He's, well, the good news is he seems to be okay with the back, but he's really going for it. He's upping the intensity, upping the intent. See how long he can sustain this level.
Yeah, a bit annoyance on the other side, on Alexander Zverev's side, just because he can feel something is shifting here, and it is Jacob Fearnley's ground strokes just hit with a bit more decisiveness here in the second set.
Cain, Fearnley.
So it's a good start to the second set for Jacob Fearnley. 2-1.
Leads 2-1.
He was very close in the previous game to break Sasha Zverev for the first time at this tournament. And here's a look at how this possibly could work for Zverev's opponent. These are his preferred directions. And you can see the T-serve. And on the ad side, if you take a look at it, 14%, the two that are counted as wide, they are not really accurate. They are far away from the line. So you can kind of keep that open and protect that T-serve. Today, he's really going down the T on the deuce side as well. Usually, he likes the wide serve on the deuce side, but we have these days where sometimes we just feel one particular serve better. So maybe the coaching team of Fearnley can tell him what to close.
On serve in the second set here at Margaret Court Arena. Beautiful day. Day 6 of the Australian Open. 2025 men's third round action. World number 2. Alexander Zverev took the opening set. Just the one service break. 6-3. So he had 2 break points against him in his previous service game, the big German. So this has been a strong start to the second set from Jacob Fearnley.
Seems to have really settled on that racket, Zverev. No sign of any more changes. Did play his first 2 matches at night here. Very different conditions. It's not as hot as it can be today, but it is warm. The ball's sort of really jumping, and I think that's possibly why we saw him try a few different tensions and regripping, etc. But he seems to have settled on that racket for now.
Zverev.
Much easier service game for Zverev.
2 games on.
Here we have the dad on the left, Alexander Zverev Sr. on the right, Misha, his brother. Misha beat Andy Murray here a few years back.
Quarter-finalist. Was chuffed when we reminded him of that the other night. He was doing his interview, and then had a stoush with Josh Eagle post-match when Josh was interviewing Sasha, and said that before the match, Misha had said that he would have beaten Sasha, that he was a better player, etc. He was just joking. Sasha didn't take it that way. Misha was very unhappy with that, and I think that's probably the reason why we're not hearing any more pre-match interviews from him. We might not ever hear from him again before the match.
Yeah, never joke with a tennis player's ego. We do not take it well.
Certainly no signs of any issues with the back after having that treatment after the first set. Another good service game from Jacob Fearnley. 3-2.
Well, leads 3-2.
Andrea, are you a football fan?
Yes,
Soccer.
I am.
Do you remember the last time Germany and Scotland played?
Well, you know what I remember is that Scotland was actually the winner of the hearts at the Euro Cup in Germany last year in 2024. They won over all of Germans with their beer drinking and fun-loving nature.
I think it was also a sympathy vote, because if you remember the opening game, you beat us 5-1.
As you could tell, I was trying to give you here an out, yes, to not have to mention this.
Yeah, and our one goal was an own goal, so it was a tough night. we could do with at least a set here, okay? If you could just be kind enough to offer that up.
The winner of hearts is all I'm going to say.
Yes.
The winner of hearts.
We like a party.
Time.
on serve in the second set.
Love 15.
Nicked that one.
Very good returns there from Fearnley, and what's interesting, his team and his coach Juan Martin, they're using the tablet and they have in the box, and I think I heard them just passing on the information with regards to the serve direction from Zverev, where he likes to go to start the game, where he's going in the big points.
13.
Well, there's an ace there, but just using that data, trying to give Fearnley all the help they can.
Yeah, and he did break his pattern here. Zverev usually likes to go down the tee on these 15-all points. That's why you saw Fearnley move a bit towards the tee. Well, those are the risks you have to take against these fantastic servers as Zverev is.
14.
And here you can see how good he actually is. The average of the top 10 first serve speed is 195. Fearnley actually above it. Very good server in his own right, but Zverev not only above it, but way above it on his average speed. And another easy service hold for him, and he has gotten so much more reliable with his first serve ever since he took down his ball toss by around 10 centimeters. It used to be a lot higher. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does leave more room for error when it's windy. And it's just so hard to break him, as we can see here again at the Australian Open.
Yet to be done. 2025. That can't be an easy thing to, you know, when your ball toss is just such a natural movement. It is what it is, I would imagine, for most players. But to decide that you need to deliver it to a certain height must take a fair amount of mental strength as well as the practice and just the hours of doing that to make that change. Oh, thank you. Is it out? Is it as hard as it sounds to do that? 10 centimeters.
To me, it's honestly unimaginable, because my ball toss was also kind of all over the place, to be fair. But I really think you're exactly right, David. The ball toss is so natural, and you've done it so many times in your life, to then have to switch it up. Of course, it was done before, Marin Cilic, before he won the US Open.
Position of the toss I can understand, but the actual height of it, it's sounds tricky to me. I like the discipline of that, identifying that something needs to change and then working diligently to do it. He's just trying a few things here, Fearnley, and they haven't come off, and now he's down the 2 break points.
30-14.
Yeah, that was very well played from the other side. You have to accept that he's looking for some wisdom from his coach's box here.
Advantage, Zverev.
A little unlucky. And he made the most of the opportunity, Zverev, to break and leads 4-3.
Zverev leads 4 games to 3.
Can I give you one straight away?
We did hear last week in the exhibition matches, whenever players are saying sorry, they don't actually mean it. But that did look heartfelt then from Zverev. It was unfortunate for Fearnley.
Well, we just talked about the changes Zverev makes his ball toss, and take a look at this. This is a completely different return stance Zverev is trying out here in 2025. Is a lot lower, and then he moves forward before he hits the ball. Whereas for those who have watched him last year when he was so close to his first Australian Open final, it was a lot more upright, trying to make the ball. So just overall trying to be more aggressive.
Time.
It's just so interesting to see these players change things.
Sun streaming down onto Margaret Court Arena just past 4 p.m. local time here, Friday afternoon. Venue will be absolutely jammed as people who are unfortunate to have to go back to work. We're working, of course. We've been working since the day after Christmas. Hard workers that we are, Andrea. But for those that have had the summer holiday but are back to work Friday afternoon at the tennis, great place to be.
Just looked at a bit of frustration from Fearnley after the first point, just signalling to his team he feels like he's missing a lot of shots by very small margins. And he has played a better set here, but finds himself a breakdown. The only choice, though, you've got to stay positive, just keep trying to find a way to get a break.
13.
Change it up here to the white serve. Nice follow-up with the backhand down the line. And Colin, to your point, that's the kind of pressure these top guys create on the other side, that you feel like you need to get closer to the lines. You need to take more risks. And maybe you miss balls you wouldn't normally miss.
Good scrambling from Fearnley. Severe angles from Zverev.
30, 14.
Had a couple of break points in the second game of this second set, first service game for Zverev. Good reward, breaks back. Streak has come to an end for Zverev. 35 games without a break of serve. And that's a strong result for the Brit, and well deserved. 4-all.
Game zone.
One unbelievable point there. The intensity was off the charts. Just remind ourselves that this guy is not long out of college. You know, I know they're sort of training like pros there, but it's not even 12 months. He's been full-time on the tour, and he's going toe-to-toe there with the world number 2. That was a fantastic effort.
Love 50.
Oh, what a shot. It was behind him, and I think he was expecting it to go long.
Love 30.
Yeah, he's not happy, Jacob Fearnley, but this was an incredible coordinative effort by Zverev, running back, staying low. This guy is 100 feet tall, and his legs are 90 feet of these 100 feet.
Just updating his Wikipedia page now because he's actually 6'6", but I've just changed it to 100 feet.
Okay.
Quite a few costly double faults, Andre. I don't know what the total number is, but it's felt like they've come on big points. 15 all in his previous service game. He was a double fault, fell behind, ended up being broken. It's just really hampering him.
Yeah, 5 double faults in the match, 3 in this set. And costly ones at that.
That's unfortunate. We've had back-to-back breaks of serve for Fearnley, sandwiched between the breakers, Zverev's serve. So 5-4. Zverev's going to serve for the set.
Zverev leads 5-4. Time.
35 service games in a row for Alexander Zverev across the opening 3 matches here at the Australian Open. Saved 10 break points before finally someone found their way through. Jacob Fearnley sadly gave up the next service game. So now Zverev serving for the second set. Because of the serve and how strong the placement, the serve +1, first shot after the serve, it's so easy for him so often. Moves forward a fraction, finds the right spot in the court, finishes the point.
And that's such a good point, that you're making, because oftentimes when we watch the highlights of matches, we watch the highlight reels and the crazy 18-shot rallies with 3 drop shots and a tweener, when in reality a match is mostly comprised by these quick, cheap points, the free points on serve, the serve +1. And Zverev gets so many of those.
Wasn't all one-way traffic, but in the end, Zverev takes the second set 6-4.
Zverev leads by 2 sets to 0.
Alexander Zverev that he'll have to ignore just to win the title here. You've been one of the best players to have never won the Grand Slam, to never have won a major. There's all sorts of statistics that he'll have to overcome.
That's nicely played, and Colin, Jacob played a great second set, which just wasn't quite enough. Is there anything else you think he can do to maybe nick one here?
I thought Jacob played a very good set. What cost him is what we talked about, just some errors. A double fault in both the service games. He was broken, just a few loose moments. I mean, he did what no one else has done, and he broke Zverev. That was an unbelievable game. I just think he needs to... I think he needs to try to take the game to Zverev, you know, coming in, attacking him, but he's got to believe in himself, believe in those moments, and, you know, if you break Zverev, you have to win that set. You have to take care of your serve. So, you know, he's doing the right things, but he's just got to try and believe in himself and try and sustain the level, not have any of those little dips on serve. And at the very least, let's see if he can get to a tie-break here and then take his chances, because he's in this probably maybe more than he might think. Certainly that's the feeling I've got courtside, but you just feel Zverev isn't going to have any dips. He's 2 in the world. We know he can sustain it. Can Jacob sustain it? Can he hold serve 6 times, maybe nick a break? If not, get to a tie break, see what happens. That's the challenges in front of him, but I think tactically he's doing the right things.
Yeah, here we have it again, 79% first serve. That is, as mentioned before, virtually unplayable. That's why Jacob needs to take care of his own serve. Maybe hope for a drop-off in level, but Sasha clearly has found a great rhythm on that serve.
The horned frogs, there it is. That looks menacing.
It does. I thought frogs were like cute.
Yep.
Not
Texas
this one.
Christian University. That's what they called. It's on the hat as well. That would, their football team must be feared.
And a little opening here for Zverev. Never mind the horned frogs. Has a little chance here. Yeah, those double faults. That's what you were going to say, Colin, right?
Yeah, and just the first 2 points as well. It just feels like Fearnley's intensity and focus has dropped here, and it looks like he's going to pay the price. It's a poor game so far. Zverev's going to break you. You've got to at least try and sort of make him break you, not hand it to him. You know, he put balls in play all day. See if Fearnley can get out of this one.
Well, it's just that relentless pressure that Zverev applies. He gets a break here. 2-1.
Zverev leads 2-1.
We are inside Margaret Court Arena.
Time.
Single break of serve in the opening set. Had a couple in the second set because his own serve was broken, Alexander Zverev. But it's been a good job from Jacob Fearnley. Dropped his service game once again here. Saw a shot of Fearnley's partner Keegan Polk. She was a beach volleyballer with the Horned Frogs, Texas Christian University.
Did you do Adelaide this year?
I didn't, no. I just did United Cup.
The Memorial Drive, though. venue for the Adelaide Internationals hosting the World Beach Volleyball Championships later in the year. They'll bring in the sand, and that'll be fantastic atmosphere.
I think they were in Hamburg, actually, which is last year, which is Zverev's hometown. Beautiful city in Germany. Yeah, he plays this best actually when he goes down a break, just doesn't care as much, doesn't try to make it too precious and perfectly. Jacob Fearnley, I think a man we will hear a lot from coming this season. He's played so few ATP matches. I think we will see a lot more of him 2025. Here we have Zofia Tomala on the left with the sunglasses. That's Alexander Zverev's longtime girlfriend. Very successful in her own right, back in Germany as a TV host.
Well, that's what you're talking about. Where they're just a little passive. Certainly the success has been throwing the caution to the wind a little bit, being aggressive, not worrying too much about the result. But there was just trying to keep the rally going rather than find a winner. Still got 2 break point opportunities.
Well, that was much better contested, and I think you're spot on, David. I think that's exactly right. Whenever he seems to have an opportunity, just a bit too overcautious with it, does not want to make an error, and that's usually when the errors come. Still 1 left here.
Jacob Fearnley breaks back. Second time in the match that he's been able to find a way through. Zverev's third. Flags flying. Colin Fleming courtside, don't put away the bagpipes, and Flower has got an anthem just yet.
Yeah, I'm just going to put my kilt on, actually. No, not quite, but Zverev really unhappy here. He's really remonstrating with his team. It was interesting there. Obviously a third break point, the pressure on him. He retreated in the court. He ended up back on that Melbourne sign, and the ball got low on him, and that's the reason it flew long. He has that tendency. Yeah, great point there. I'd love to get Andrea your sort of professional perspective, but you know, what's the chatter at home in Germany? You know, for me, Zverev's changed the racket. He's hitting bigger. He's doing the work. He's coming in more. The serve is more reliable. But what will determine whether he wins the slam is how he performs in the big moments. For me, all that goes out the window if he retreats back in the court, just pushes the ball.
rush at Zverev. Loves a target at the net. Jacob Fearnley, annoyed, just hasn't been able to capitalize on any of these breaks. And Colin, I think you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what the talk of the town is back in Germany. Boris Becker has talked about it. Just how does he compete in the biggest moments? I think this is the kind of rally, right, Colin, you were referring to. Just a bit passive there again.
Yes, and look, he's such a good mover. He gets his racket on everything, and I think he feels, or has felt in his career, that in the big moment, he's going to get to everything, put everything in play, and eventually the opponent will break down. But now the power in the game, you know, here's Fearnley, just out of college with the ability to sort of hit through. I think he has to play... I think he has to play braver tennis. You know, that's too good from Fearnley there, but these guys are going to keep going for it. Cost them in some big matches against Taylor Fritz last year. And that was a perfect example for me. So I'm really watching Zverev here. I'm really intrigued to see how he's going to perform now that Fearnley's coming back at him.
The most tense moment of the match, interestingly here. You can feel the irritation on Zverev's side and a bit of hope in Scotland over.
That was a good recovery. He was off balance as he slid in. Not only maintain his feet, but get back across the court.
And I will say, ever the optimist and not German biased at all, I still believe he can do it. I really think that his moment is still about to come. We'll see.
That's a good indication of what he needs to do to fight through. 3-2.
3 games to 2.
So once again, the break, he's doing everything he possibly can, Fearnley. Talked about Zverev and what he brings, how he maintains that level.
And do you think, Colin, I know you're drinking water, I see you from here. I was waiting for that moment. But do you think it's a lapse of concentration, or do you think he just gets cautious when he's in a moment of opportunity, Jacob?
Yeah, I think it's the pertinent question, isn't it? I think it's a mental thing. Is it belief once he's back on level in the scoreboard? Is it concentration? But yeah, he's had lapses that have cost him his service games.
So once again, we've seen some loud shirts. That is a loud shirt. I'm not sure it's matching the hat, to be honest, Andrea. I'm a fashionista, as you are, and that's even worse. So at least the hat is matching the shirt, but
well, David, I didn't
better
know
in the stands than on the court, that's for sure.
That's true. And I didn't know you were sharing T-shirts from your closet with the audience. That's so nice of you.
I've got a good dress-up cupboard. You missed the Mexican fighting mask last night with Zera on court. I brought my array of them in. Zverev with a break here. I mentioned Boris Becker before. If he gets the win here, Zverev, he'll move to just within 1 of the German record for Australian Open match wins. Zverev's on 27, Becker 29. He's got a lot of stats, Zverev, for the best of someone that hasn't won a major. Percentage of matches won, appearances in second week of Grand Slams, all of those things.
Just missed. And I really hope that no matter whether Zverev manages to win a Grand Slam or not, I hope he does, but even if he doesn't, I hope his career will be regarded as massively as it has been with diabetes. To be at this height of the sport for such a long time is an incredible feat.
Piece of fortune. So I hear what you're saying there, Andrea, about Zverev and what his career would look like. But at the end of the day, when you're as good as he is and you've been so close, you're measured on the W's at the end of the tournament. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately.
Well, he very clearly will be the most disappointed of all. But as I said, I'm an optimist. It has nothing to do with German bias, and I still believe.
Getting closer to moving through to the fourth round here. Hold serve leads 4-2.
Zverev leads 4-2.
Yes, please.
Racket selection continues. Colin, there's an array. It's like a golf bag. He needs a caddy.
Yeah. New balls coming into play here. So as most of the players do, especially the top players, changing with the rotation. Wants to make sure the tension is spot on. Maybe a chance to get a fresh overgrip on the racket as well. So it was interesting that Fearnley didn't change with the new balls there.
Love 50. Love 30.
Just looks like his head is starting to go down, Fearnley. I think Zverev has just sort of sucked the belief out of him. German just keeping the level so high, he's relentless. Wants to get this one done in straight sets.
Love 40.
So big problems now. Strong fight. Hung in there. 3 break points though.
Eighteen, 14. Yes.
That's a good fight back here. A couple of more good serves would be useful.
Advantage Zverev. Yes.
Good elevation.
Advantage Fearnley.
Well, defended all the break points there. Hold serve. Zverev still with the advantage. 4-3, third set.
Zverev leads 4-3. Time.
Beautiful scenes as we travel along the Yarra River. Rowing boats are out. The university rowing clubs dotted along the southern banks of the Yarra as we get close to the CBD here, but then 1573 Margaret Court Arena. Good job, Colin, by Fearnley to hang in there. Still alive.
Yeah, as long as he keeps it to one break, he's got a fighting chance. Has broken Zverev twice, so maybe lightning can strike 3 times.
That helps.
Return to serve has been phenomenal from Fearnley, I have to say. He stood tall to the Zverev serve. It's just been taking care of his own serve that's been a bigger problem. We've spoken a lot about Zverev and, you know, can he win a slam? Why is he not already? The second serve has been a question mark, but I have to say, sitting courtside, you can feel the confidence that he has in that shot now. The sort of gremlins on that second serve seem to be behind him.
He's been pressed again, Zverev, by Fearnley, but manages to prevail.
Zverev leads
on the doorstep of the spot in the 4th round.
30. 30.
Serving intensity remaining high, 198. So Fearnley holds. Going to ask the question, Zverev, who will serve for the match when we return. 5-4.
5 games, 2-4.
Colin, I think when all is said and done here and Jacob Fearnley returns to the locker room first time through to the third round of the Grand Slam, has stretched Zverev in certainly the second and the third sets here, and he's put up an outstanding display.
Yeah, he has. I think it's important to remember where he's come from in the last 12 months. His ceiling, you know, watch him courtside here against the world number 2, his ceiling is so high. He's been able to break him twice, one in each set. Just a few times when he's kind of really got into the match, level in the second set, even level early in the third. That's when he's come unstuck. So I think he's just, it comes down to belief almost in those moments. I think these experiences this week will help him. But there's a serious player in there, Jacob Fearnley. He can continue to climb the rankings, no doubt. Zverev's been impressive today, David. His game looks in showroom condition. I have to say that there hasn't really been a weakness, there hasn't been a dip. He's a man on a mission.
Let's see, 15.
They're looking for a spot in the fourth round here. He'll equal his efforts of 2020 and 2022 of winning the first 3 rounds without dropping a set. 2 match points. Well, it's a dominant display. No fuss. Straight sets. Through to the fourth round for the 6th time, the Australian Open. Just over the 2-hour mark. It'll mark the 21st time that he's been to the round 16 of the Grand Slam tournament. And he will go through to the second week full of confidence. I think you summed it up, Colin. Showroom condition, fine fettle, all of those things.
Certainly is, and you could probably argue that you know, some long matches early in these Grand Slams over the years have cost him when it gets to the second week, the latter stages. There's no sign of that here. There's an extra sort of aggression, a real momentum to Zverev, and he's looking very, very good. As good as I think he's ever looked in a Grand Slam. Great reception here for Jacob Fearnley. He put on a show at times today. What a run he's had.
A milestone moment for the Scotsman through to the 3rd round of a Grand Slam for the first time, and he experienced another educational moment in his career like he did against Djokovic on the centre court at Wimbledon. Positive indeed. Andrea Petkovic has dashed out of our commentary box and gone downstairs, and she's going to have a word here with Alexander Zverev.
Sasha, another day. I think the PA is not working yet, but we are live on TV, don't worry. Another day and another very impressive straight sets victory, but Jacob put up a heck of a fight in set 2 and 3. What are your thoughts on the match today?
No, I think he's an incredible player. He went through all the stages, you know. He went to college, he went through futures, challenges. Now he's on a big tour playing 3rd rounds of Grand Slam, so I've massive respect for him, massive respect for the effort that he put into the sport, and he's going to get better, I think, over the next few years still.
Well, he's not the only one who's making a massive effort, because you're changing so much. You improved your serve, your forehand. Now I see your return stance, you're lower, you're moving in. You changed racket. What haven't you changed?
My hair. Listen, I'm just happy I still got hair, looking at my father over there in the corner. So as long as I can keep this haircut, it's all good. You know, I think I look good, so I feel good on the court, you know, that saying and all of that, so it's all good so far.
People agree with you. Can you just talk us through your material today, because you did change rackets a few times. You played at night your first 2 matches. What was going through your head when you were changing your rackets?
No.
Okay. That took a weird turn.
After I win the tournament, I promise. No, I'm kidding. If I win the tournament. No, what was your question? I got this.
People are asking for you to take your shirt off. It was not me as the audience. I actually very professionally just wanted to know why you changed rackets so frequently today.
No, it was. Just let me finish the interview, please. I'm begging you. I can't focus. No, it was very windy today, so it doesn't matter. Who cares about my racket?
Congratulations, you broke Sasha Zverev. Alexander Zverev into the round of the last 16.
Great perseverance, Andrea.